And good day once again, and welcome back into the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. We've extended our Space Station Live broadcast for the day a few minutes. A busy man has joined us today. He is the lead flight director for Expedition 38, Judd Frieling. Judd, thanks for being with us today. You just literally walked out of the International Space Station Mission Management Team meeting. How did all of that discussion go, and how are we looking for the start of the spacewalk on Tuesday morning?
Yes, the discussion went great. We're looking, we give a go for the next EVA. That's tomorrow morning. So that's we're all ready to go.
Okay, so let's take a look at the last 48 hours here. The first spacewalk, the crew worked extremely efficiently, basically knocked off the first 2 hours of what had been planned for the second spacewalk, and they're back in the airlock. And walk us through what happened back in the Quest airlock at the end of Saturday's spacewalk and the resulting activities over the past couple of days.
Yeah, so we intend for at the end of the EVA to kind of clean up the EVA, and at the end of that we pressurized the airlock. And once we did that, we had an inadvertent switch throw that turned some water on to go to one of the suits. And that inadvertent switch throw made us question whether or not we got some water in the sublimator module of one of those suits while it was at pressure. So the reason that's not such a good thing is that we expect water to go in the sublimator when we're at vacuum of the airlock, and that the act of the water going in the sublimator actually is what creates an ice brick on the sublimator and allows us to reject heat on the suits once they go out EVA. When water gets in that sublimator at pressure, there's a chance that once we go back to vacuum again, that water will freeze in kind of an incorrect place in the sublimator and kind of let it expand out and bow the sublimator. So because there was a question about whether we had liquid water in that sublimator, that suit 3010, which was Rick's suit, we had to call that suit no-go.
Okay, now in calling it no-go, that necessitated a discussion about how much time it would take to get another suit ready to go, and that's what led us from a Monday spacewalk today through to a Tuesday spacewalk. So what has the crew been doing now to prepare for that, and what did they do back, I guess, yesterday on Sunday in order to get the ball rolling?
Right, so we had already planned for them on Sunday to have a jam-packed day of activities, scrubbing their suits, scrubbing the water within their suits, and various other cleanup activities to get them ready for an EVA that would have been on Monday. So because we had to call this suit, the 3010 Rick suit, no-go, that means we kind of have to do a suit shuffle. And we shuffled the suits around such that we can get our backup suit, which is 3005, resized. We also have to, the way it works out is that 3005 has an upper torso unit on it that would only fit Mike. And so we have to give that one to Mike, and we have to take the one that Mike was using in this previous EVA and give that to Rick. So we basically have to resize both of those suits.
Sort of a tailoring nightmare if you went into a department store to get the right fit.
Right.
Now, the suit that Rick wore on Saturday that's been in the process of drying out, there is a full expectation that it will be back in service in the not-too-distant future.
Right, absolutely. The concern would only be if there was water in this sublimator when we returned it to vacuum, and so obviously we're gonna dry that out properly, and it'll probably take on the order of a week or so to get that properly dried out. But there's no expectation that suit will be no-go indefinitely. We believe once we get that sublimator dried out, it'll be ready to go for EVA.
And just to be clear for our viewing audience and our listening audience, the suits that they wore on Saturday functioned perfectly.
Absolutely.
Bone dry, right?
Yeah. They worked as expected.
as we expect the suits tomorrow to do as well. What was the philosophy now in putting Hopkins at the end of the robot arm for the second EVA and basically switching their designations EV1 and 2, which gets into a little bit of a confusing procedural and paper trail?
Right. So we had originally planned, since Mike or was before this EVA the other day, first time EVA guy. We planned to give him some experience out on the robotic arm on EVA number 3 or EVA 26 as it would have been called, because it's apparent now that we'll be able to get most all of our critical objectives done on our next EVA, which is going to be tomorrow. There was some thought from both the crew and the ground here that it would be good to get Mike some experience flying in the arm, and so we went ahead and swapped roles between the crew members. So Mike's going to be out on the arm on this EVA, and Rick's going to be out free floating. We are still going to retain the designation. Rick is still going to be designated EV1, and Mike's going to be designated EV2, meaning Rick is the lead spacewalker. But for our kind of ground procedures down here, we basically kind of have to scratch out EV1 and 2 and reverse those as to because fundamentally Mike's doing the role that we had bookmarked for EV1.
And for the media out there, don't be confused. I'll try to explain this tomorrow during the spacewalk. As I said, a little bit of a paper trail to try to follow along during the spacewalk. Why only 2 EVAs now? Is it because we got so far ahead of the timeline on Saturday, and this is an EVA smorgasbord week with the Russians looming on the horizon at the end of the week? How is it all going to fit?
Yeah, so based on our experience from the previous time we did this pump R&R, we had a lot of problems with the quick disconnect connectors on the pump module itself, and so we book kept a lot of time on this EVA on Saturday for the crew to be able to manipulate those quick disconnect QDs. That went very well, and so it took no time at all for them to be able to manipulate those quick disconnects, and so as we prepared for, we were ready for them to do other tasks, which basically were the first half of the tasks that we had originally planned for the second EVA. So we basically got EVA and a half worth of activities done on Saturday.
Very good. And as all of this activity is ongoing, earlier today, Station Commander Oleg Kotov and Sergei Rosansky, the flight engineer, they were in their spacesuits, the Orlan suits, in the Piers docking compartment, getting ready for their excursion on Friday coming up, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They have a spacewalk out of the Russian segment on Friday that they were getting ready for this morning.
Christmas, what a week. What a couple of weeks this has been. So to set the stage, Koichi Wakata was involved in robotics conferences today. The 2 spacewalkers, Mastracchio and Hopkins, did a procedures review earlier today. The stage is set for the second of these spacewalks to complete the work to replace this pump module and get the station back to full cooling capability. Spacewalk scheduled to begin at 6:10 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday. We'll be on the air with our live coverage at 5:15 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday. Judd Frieling, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.